Before we dive into the show, if you're looking to make some picks on your favorite sports, you got to check out Underdog Fantasy's Pick'em game. You just choose higher or lower on your favorite players, and you can win up to 1,000 times your entry. If you click the link in the description and use our code RULE, you'll get up to $1,000 in bonus cash and a free pick. We love Underdog Fantasy, using it to make some picks in today's show. So go use our code RULE in the description for, again, up to $1,000 in bonus cash and a free pick. On today's episode of The Unwritten Rule, no recap because Mizzou was off last week. So just have a preview, looked at Mississippi State, really went in depth with the game, talked matchups, kind of previewed it, gave our thoughts on the Bulldogs. A different look than the usual Chris Jans teams, a lot more offense to this Mississippi State outfit. So we've got a good one on our hands, I think, in the hump. And so we had a really, really good preview. I really went in deep on just how we think Mizzou can maybe pull off a big win on the road, and just gave our predictions, outlook for the game, and all that stuff. And then did quick hits to finish out the show. At our Jersey of the Week, talked some Tigers in the NFL. We had another player added to the College Football 25 video game, so we talked about that. A couple of NFL coaching news things as well. So really good show. Enjoyed it, this one. And obviously had a great preview of the game as well. So tap in, and we'll see how it goes for Mizzou in Starkville, Mississippi. The Unwritten Rule starts right now.
Marcel, where are you going with that disc? You are not putting that on again. Marcel, okay, if you press that button, you are in very, very big trouble.
Attention. Everybody stop what you're doing. It's time for The Unwritten Rule, a Mizzou sports podcast brought to you by the Believe Network, alongside Payton Haverman and Kenny Van Doren. Here is your host, Jack Knowlton.
Welcome back to The Unwritten Rule. Today is Friday, January 31st, and it has felt like an eternity since we've had some Mizzou men's basketball. But thankfully, we've got that on Saturday. Mizzou had their bye week. They were off midweek, so we have no midweek game to recap. Instead, we just are rolling right into a preview. We are going to preview another kind of marquee game, if you will, a little bit later on after this. But we've got Mizzou, Mississippi State. Of course, the Tigers navigated the other Mississippi team, the Ole Miss Rebels, but now have to go down to Stark Vegas, Humphrey Coliseum, the Hump, as some call it, and is written on their court. SEC Network on Saturday, noon tip-off, high noon. This will start the day in the SEC for men's basketball. Number 20, Missouri. Number 14, Mississippi State. The Tigers, if you're looking on the YouTube, you can see it. And I'll read to you if you're not. 29.2% on ESPN's matchup projector to win this game. I am very intrigued to see how this is going to go. Of course, Missouri, like I said, is on the bye, so they're 16-4, 5-2 in the SEC. Mississippi State 16-5, 4-4 in conference. They played Alabama on Wednesday night in their most recent affair. Payton, Kenny, I'll just roll right into it. What do you guys think of Mississippi State? I'm giving you an open-ended prompt this time because we have no game to recap, so I'm not really being direct with it. What do you guys like about the Bulldogs? What do you know about them? What did you watch about them this season? How are you feeling about this game? Tough road test for Mizzou.
Yeah, 100%. First of all, the Hump has been a house of horrors for Mizzou since joining the SEC. Mizzou won the first game, I believe it was, at Mississippi State when they joined. But since then, I believe they are 0-9. This has just never been a place Missouri has been able to win, no matter how good and mostly bad they've been. I remember the last good Conzo team that got up to number 10. They went to Mississippi State, and Mississippi State just kind of blew the doors off of them. It's been a bogey team, and I mean that has not changed in kind of the new era either. I mean, Missouri did get that one home win in Dennis Gates' first year, but they also went down to the Hump that year and just totally fell victim to Jan's ball. It was just a defensive crap fest is the most apt way to put it. That's kind of been the calling card of Mississippi State under Jans, and really for most of the time, I think all three of us have been watching college basketball. They will really, drag you through the mud. But this team is a little different. It definitely is the most offensively inclined team under Chris Jans. They have Josh Hubbard, who, when he gets going, it's Caleb Grill like. He is just one of the most potent shooters in the conference when he's really rolling. They have Keshawn Murphy as well, who leads them in rebounds per game at 7. Is also a pretty decent offensive scoring threat as well. I mean, being a big, that's going to happen, but 56.7 effective field goal percentage. He's no slouch either. This is 100% the toughest game I think Missouri has played since Auburn. I know people will point at Florida as well, but I think Mississippi State is just a tougher style to play against for Missouri. They're still defensive minded. I think that it's going to probably be more of a slugfest than a shootout at the hump. And if Missouri is able to win it, I mean, we're going to be talking about whether this team can potentially make waves in the SEC title race more than if they're even going to make the tournament.
Payton, that was like the first thing big Ken Palm guy here, share a name with Pomeroy, and I went and just looked at it. And the first thing that did jump off the page was like the change in kind of defensive rating from the past few years. Because like you said, it's like, I mean, they get in your head, when they're playing defense down there in Stark Vegas, and only 45th in defensive rating, according to Ken Palm, which I found a little bit surprising. But that offense, they have a top 20 offense in college basketball. And Mizzou's, I mean, kind of on an even playing field. Mizzou's in that top 25 range, defensive wise, a little bit closer to 50. So, I mean, a little bit more even matchup than you probably would have expected coming into the year. I mean, at this point in the season, did you think Mizzou was going to be 5-2 in SEC play and Mississippi State was going to be 4-4? So it's definitely, a good spot to kind of find Mississippi State, especially coming off of a week that you didn't have a game, pretty much a bye week there. I'm at the midweek point before you go down there to Starkville. So I think Mizzou is in a good spot in that regard. But I also think it is one of those games that you can take the hit. We talked about Texas going into that game. This one's a little bit different. Obviously we will have more conversations about how far Mizzou can make it if they handle Mississippi State, but also a game I think doesn't really hurt your resume at the end of the day.
Yeah, definitely doesn't hurt your resume. Yeah, I am really intrigued. I kind of can't tell if I think Mizzou can try and make Mississippi State run, but I think I worry about that. I think this is a kind of a bad matchup for Mizzou because that offense, I was at the Alabama game. They can run. I mean, they're not. They will slow you down and they will drag you through the mud. But if Missouri really establishes a rhythm here and can get out and run, Mississippi State can get out and run with them. And I think that they can still, impact the game and win the game that way. Yeah, they're really good offensively. They have 4 double-digit scorers. Payton talked about Murphy and Hubbard. They've got Riley Kugel, who I think is a big difference maker for them off the bench. He was at Florida the last 2 years. Payton signed because he's had some, just nightmare games in terms of when you're playing against him, I guess. The other guy I'll point out too is Cameron Matthews. He's someone who I think if you can limit him on both ends is going to be big for Mizzou. He's second on the team in rebounding, and he is first in the conference, I believe, in steal percentage. He's a really good defender and gets after it. So I think you need to, you're going to need to keep the ball. Alabama turned it over 14 times against them, and that didn't end up really affecting the game, but they're also the fastest team in the country. Missouri's not. And I don't think Missouri can get them in a track meet enough to beat Mississippi State. And I think like Payton said, if it does really get dragged into the mud and there's a lot of whistles like at the end of that Florida game, I mean, at the very least, Missouri showed they can hang around with a team like that, but that is how Mississippi State wants to play you. I worry about Hubbard too. I think you can just kind of unleash him and let him take over the game, but I don't know. What do you guys think of, like, I guess if there's I kind of named, I guess, in Matthews an X factor for Mississippi State. Who's an X factor for Missouri here? Who's someone that, I mean, you have your usual suspects, but who's someone that you're like, if they can kind of light it up, or maybe you see them getting going against a team like Mississippi State?
I recognize this isn't going to be like a super fun answer or anything, but I'm going to go with Mark Mitchell. Specifically, I want to see who on Mississippi State deals with Mark Mitchell when Josh Gray and Mark Mitchell are in at the same time, because I think we're going to get some of that, because that's going to have Murphy kind of in a bind. So then you'll maybe look at who on Mississippi State is maybe going to pick up the slack there defensively and try and stop Mark Mitchell. The answer might be a pretty funny one. I'm pretty sure I know who you're going to say.
Yeah. Is it RJ Melendez, Payton?
Yeah, it might be a lot of RJ Melendez on Mark Mitchell. And if it comes down to that, I want to see the ball dumped down to Mark Mitchell plenty of times. Mississippi State, rather, they do have Michael Nwoko, 6'10 sophomore as well. I'm sure they'll probably try and use him a bit if it gets pretty ridiculous. But I don't. That's just a matchup I'll watch. I think like when you get when you go a little bit bigger, like you have Pierce on the floor, you have Mitchell on the floor, you have Gray on the floor. I think that's something Missouri can maybe, if the shot is falling for Pierce particularly, that's something that I think Ole Miss God, I keep saying Ole Miss, Mississippi State. I didn't
tweet yesterday.
Yeah, I think that's something Mississippi State would struggle a bit more with.
I have a two-parter. I thought you were going to say his name, Payton, but I think something I've really noticed from Caleb Grill over the past couple weeks is how much he frustrates offensive players and opponents. And I think this is one of those things where you almost like match it. You match like the defensive frustrations and just defensive prowess that Mississippi State is kind of known for, and you kind of just reverse it. And I think it's going to be a big game for him and Anthony Robinson. Just at the top and kind of just, matching ball handlers. And something that really hasn't gone Robinson's way recently has been those fouls. So, limiting that, kind of staying on the floor and not, getting into 2 or 3 in the first half is probably going to behoove him moving forward late into that game. But those are my two guys. I think that's something that you might see a little bit more of, just continue that defensive frustration from those two and just kind of getting in the head of the offensive players.
Yeah, I mean, there's a lot, we talked about the 14th best offense in the country. There's a lot better guard play than you're used to seeing on Mississippi State. It is going to be tough. I mean, what Josh Hubbard is so good at doing and what I think Jans is good at doing around him is when you do try and throw a guard who can defend like Anthony Robinson, they set a ton of ball screens and you kind of have to switch because Josh Hubbard is so fast that it's hard to go over screens. He's really good at drawing fouls when he shoots threes. He's got a nice step back. He gains separation. I'm not, and Payton, I know you're signed because I am a Josh Hubbard fan. I like watching him play, but
I totally get it. I mean, we've talked about this. I think Josh Hubbard is real dynamic.
It's really difficult because then you get a big on him and he's so fast that he just blows right by you. So it's hard to throw a guy like a Trent Pierce or, I mean, Caleb Grill. I will be impressed if he can really impact Josh Hubbard because it's just kind of you can blow past him because he's so fast and kind of just slippery. So it's hard because you can't just throw Anthony Robinson on him and hope he takes him out of the game. I don't know if Anthony Robinson. You're right, Kenny. Like it's going to have to be a team effort, is what I'm saying. And like I wonder if it's just does Dennis kind of try and funnel him into Mitchell and Gray and block shots, or is it, maybe we see some more of that zone. I mean, they have been really good with that, kind of 2-3, 3-2 matchup zone. Maybe you try and get him sped up. And in the same vein with Hubbard, while he can kind of be a microwave like Grill, he is not nearly as efficient. They let him shot chuck. I mean, he can take any shot, as many as he wants. So, it could be one of those things if you can get him to be inefficient, he can affect games. But I will be really interested to see how well they defend him, because it's just hard to, no matter who you throw on him. But maybe it's a case, maybe you let him go for 40. You hold everyone else under 10, you win the game. Maybe that's how you do it. But I don't know. What other things are you looking for, guys, in this one, Kenny? You look like you've got one in the chamber here.
Yeah, a question for Payton on this too. I mean, and you, if you want to jump in on it. But big Marcus Allen game. I mean, is that something that you maybe want to see? Like, will there be rotations where they have a couple more shooters on the floor and then just plug Marcus Allen in?
See, that actually is a great like feed into what I kind of wanted to point out too. Like I feel like more than any other game Mizzou's had on the schedule, this one is just going to be a real chess match between Jans and Gates because, like you said, Knowlton, there's so many different ways these teams can play each other. Maybe that is something they look at, especially if this really gets into kind of like a slugfest defensively. Maybe Gates just kind of leans into kind of containing Ole Miss's I've done it again. Mississippi State's offense as much as possible and put someone like Allen in. Because there's just so many ways these teams can play each other. I mean, like you said, Knowlton, maybe they try and just force Hubbard to like funnel like to go against the trees a bit. Maybe, like I said, I expect to see a bit of Gray, Pierce, and Mitchell just go a bit bigger at times, but maybe if Mississippi State is able to like counter that effectively, like you said, Matthews is really good at forcing steals. Like maybe he can kind of get in Mark Mitchell's grill a bit. There's just so many different ways to play it. So maybe there is someone that has to come in and just kind of give them steady play that we don't expect, like Marcus Allen.
I like it, Kenny. I mean, I think, the bench, what you're going to get out of your bench is going to be huge. Just because, like, I mean, Mississippi State does have one of the better 6 men in the conference in Kugel. I mean, he's their third leading scorer. You bring him in off the bench. So, like, maybe it's even that. You let Marcus Allen guard a guy like that where he's not as slippery as Josh Hubbard. And maybe that's a little bit of an easier matchup, but he can score. And he's someone that if you take out of the game, you can win. I am really excited too, Payton, to see this chess match. I mean, like I'm kind of like doing the matchups in my head when I go through these two starting lineups. Like, I think that's another one when you look at it, it's gonna be tough. Like, I think Cameron Matthews actually probably takes Bates when I think about it.
Really,
and I don't like that. I think that would be tough for Tamar Bates. I think he could affect him.
That was right as you were starting to say that honestly, like. I think we've all kind of talked about how much we like Tamar Bates and everything. He's really been a bit. I think him and Grill are kind of the two guys on this team. When you need a bucket, you look at those two. But man, at times he has been a little bit. He's been kind of a guy that I think kind of overextends defensively, kind of gets himself out of position sometimes. And that I feel like could be tough if they go zone or something like that and he's out on the perimeter. If Hubbard like kind of takes advantage of his speed, like you say, I think that's a tough matchup for him. Like he could find himself out of position a couple times. But again, you can't go like small a lot. I don't think that a game like this favors getting someone like Warwick back involved because Ole Miss is so stout defensively. Warwick is so loose with the ball. I just don't think that'll work.
That's a 3 count. You didn't even notice that one.
I did Ole Miss again.
You did it again.
Yeah.
Oh my God, I can't stop doing
I'm
it.
gonna start like bleeping him out. People are gonna think he's like cursing up a storm on the.
Yeah, you kind of like reset my brain when you said it. All I heard was Marquise Warwick, and that's it. I didn't hear anything else after you said.
I said Warwick, and I didn't even comprehend what I said. But no, I don't think it's a game where Warwick Perkins could struggle because he at times is a little loose. But it's just going to be a big chess match. I think we're going to see a lot bigger lineups out of Dennis Gates than we're used to.
I want to jump in real quick. That's what I was going to ask. Throw that in there about Perkins. I mean, what's the line on possibly seeing Marcus Allen just start over Perkins at the beginning of the game?
That's a
Kinda
Dennis
keep the
move.
offense
Really in on this Allen gamble.
You're thinking of Dennis.
That would be something I would like. I think switching the lineup a bit wouldn't hurt. Not even as like Perkins has been bad. It's just Mississippi State matches up with them so much differently than most others do, where most times you want to get Mizzou out there more small, like because like against, and I'm actually properly using Ole Miss's name here. Against Ole Miss, they had no bigs. Like that was a game to go small, against Illinois. That was like a good game to use a lot of guards. This is not a game, I think, where guards are going to be as helpful for Missouri as they have been.
Yeah, I was trying to think about that like ways he can affect that too. And Kenny, you know what? He's definitely going to do that because Marcus Allen didn't play against Ole Miss. And so he's going to go from no minutes and he's going to start against Mississippi State. That's such a Dennis Gates maneuver.
And I don't think he's going to play like 20 minutes. I think this might be a
yeah.
game where he might just play 15, but have an impact defensively when he's on the court with some more shooters and he's the primary kind of defender on Hubbard or someone else.
I'll see your Marcus Allen call and I'll raise you.
T.O. Barrett?
I'm not saying I would do this. A T.O. Barrett start because
we're getting crazy today. We're getting crazy.
He has
shown, I love it.
The one thing I think I'm really confident and Dennis is really confident in, and he probably won't start, but I expect a heavy dose of T.O. Barrett because he's more safe with the ball than guys like Warwick, guys like Perkins. And I think you're going to need just some solid ball handling at a lot of instances in this game, particularly when Mississippi State is running a bit smaller. I think that is a good time to maybe use T.O. Barrett, just because I'm worried about how many steals Mississippi State might be able to kind of cause against this Mizzou offense. I just think it's a tough matchup for Mizzou.
So let me see if I can influence your thinking, because watching Mississippi State's starting lineup, like, and comparing it to Mizzou's, like, this is what, if they go normal, like what they have been doing, both teams, like, this is what I think happens, because you're going to have Nwako, the 6'10 center for Mississippi State, is going to probably guard Mitchell. You're going to have RJ Melendez. I think he takes Trent Pierce. And then that's where I think you throw Cameron Matthews on Bates. And then you've got the two guards, Harris and Hubbard, on Perkins and Robinson. So I think about that in my brain. I raise you both, T.O. Barrett and Marcus Allen. I say Josh Gray, and you draw that Nwako matchup on him, and then they have to make a choice between who takes Mitchell and who takes Tamar Bates. And then maybe Josh Gray. Nwako, like, I didn't think he made his presence felt down low very well against Alabama. Alabama out-rebounded them. Like, I think one of those things could be in the rebounding battle. You get a lot of O boards. You maybe go big and hammer some second chances. Maybe crazy spin zone dragging Mississippi State into a rock fight works for Missouri in a crazy twist. And you get to the free throw line a bunch, take that crowd out of it. I don't know, but that's why, like, when I look at the starting fives, I wonder if maybe I want to take Cameron Matthews off of Tamar Bates. That's, I think, because I don't like that.
See, I don't know how much I want Matthews on, like, Mitchell either, because Mitchell, I think, has been a lot more good than bad this year, but he does at times run into a problem where he'll just kind of get a little tunnel vision if he's point blank and try to put up a shot and get stripped of the ball, or just take a bad shot that maybe gets blocked. If Matthews is just this all-world stealer, which the stats seem to indicate, that would be maybe a matchup that plays into their hands as well. That would maybe set up a guy in your example. That would set up Pierce potentially if he can knock down his shots for a big game, because I think he can take Melendez. He has a size advantage. I think he's more skilled. I think that is that's advantage Mizzou at that spot, I'd say.
Yeah, and I'm trying to look at how, like, affecting the game defensively too. Josh Hubbard ranks 7th in the country in turnover rate, like, as in good. Like, he's averaging under a turnover a game.
Tough,
like,
man.
He has the ball all the time, and he doesn't get he doesn't lose it. And
But
so
he's
This is
never
going
met
to have
T.O.
to be a
Barrett.
really fine
you go.
coaching job.
I think
Dennis,
this is it. Yeah, we're in for a treat, I think. I just hope this is a really good game. And I think, the one thing that's nice is, even against Texas in spurts, and obviously they did against Florida, like, this team has shown up in the past on the road, and I think they can do it again. I will say too, Humphrey Coliseum, I wasn't blown away. Wasn't blown away by the atmosphere. Their speakers are very quiet in there. They don't play the music very loud.
My last thing, this always happens when we do this. We have, like, a really more detailed, in tune preview. We had more time to talk about it this
They
time.
get smoked.
Mississippi State is going to blow out Mizzou.
Yeah.
Yeah.
This is just what happens. We think about it too much, and
Yeah.
Mississippi State just didn't think about it too much and defeats Mizzou.
Yeah,
It's a whiteout too. So
It is a whiteout. It is a whiteout. I did find
okay,
that
that's
out.
interesting.
Yeah.
What jerseys do you think Mizzou comes out in? I think we see gold.
white.
You think Missouri comes out in white?
They wore
Saturday
their black.
golds, yeah.
Mississippi State wore their black jerseys that just say state against Alabama. So I don't think they wear, I think they'll wear white because it's white out.
There is something. I mean, I guess it is worth noting. Missouri gets, and again, this plays into the whole. We're gonna analyze this to death, and Mississippi State's just gonna blow Missouri out. But there is something to be said about Missouri having a week off, and then Mississippi State just had to play one of the best teams in the conference, one of the tougher teams to defend. Alabama will wear you out. They turn games into a track meet. So there is something to be said about that. Maybe heavier legs on the Mississippi State side late in the game. But again, end of the day, it's a house of horrors for Mizzou is the hump. Jans plays a very, I'll say, not fun style of ball to watch. I have stronger opinions on how they normally play, but it's a tough matchup for Missouri. So
yeah, it'll be interesting. All right, there you go. There's your in-depth deep dive. We'll see how it goes. Missouri against Mississippi State on SEC Network Saturday high noon in the hump. So we'll see how it goes. Payton also didn't like this hump. The hump, they renovated it. Is actually kind of a nice arena. I'll give him that. Payton
you
didn't
just
like
said it sucked.
I said the atmosphere wasn't very good, but the arena itself was very nice.
No,
had nice amenities. Anyway, all right. Well, in lieu of a recap, when we did a longer preview, but we also thought we'd do some picks, some player picks. Shout out to Underdog Fantasy. We thought we'd do some more. We do another marquee game around college basketball because we couldn't do a Mizzou recap. So we're picking one of the marquee games. Unfortunately, we don't know how good of a matchup it's going to be, but it's Duke Carolina. We're going to do some player picks from that game between the Blue Devils and Tar Heels. Carolina stinking it, lower than Mizzou in most tournament. Might miss the
tickets as low as $1,400 if you want to get a seat at Cameron.
I wish we could go higher or lower on that, like the ticket prices. But we are going to go higher or lower on a couple players from this game. Kenny, Payton, which one of you wants to go first for your pick in this game?
I'll go first. I'm taking RJ Davis, the longtime UNC Tar Heel. I'm going to take the higher on his assists. I believe it was 3.5.
3.5.
3.5. It's a charged up atmosphere, obviously, for Duke UNC. I think this is the rivalry in maybe all of college sports. RJ Davis, obviously the veteran, he's going to know the lay of the land the best. I think he knows he's got to kind of be the man for a Tar Heel squad that is nearing death on its season. I mean, they're 13-9. This has been a mess of its season for UNC. So I think RJ Davis knows he's going to have to do a lot. I think he'll be kind of playing with his hair on fire. I think he'll distribute the ball well. I think it's RJ Davis's day.
Do you think Carolina has a shot, Payton?
Oh, God. All bets are off in this game.
That's fair. Yeah.
Legitimately, I am a big believer that some rivalries, like, you throw the records out, and this is one of them.
All right. So Payton likes higher on 3.5. RJ Davis assists. Kenny, what are you going in this game? Which pick have you
I'm going to take higher on who was it?
Con Knippel.
No, not Con Knippel. Oh man,
what do you mean not Con Knippel?
You were making a whole
segment set up for this.
What's going on? This is not
guard from St. Louis that went to UNC. What was his name?
Caleb Love doesn't play there
Caleb
anymore.
Love mentions on the broadcast. I'm taking higher on 2.5.
That's not an available pick on Underdog Fantasy.
No, I'm going to take higher on Con Knippel points. It's 14.5. Correct, Jack?
Yes, 14.5 on Con Knippel. Yeah, he's good. He's good. Probably going to be a lotto pick along with the man I'm making a pick for. I'm going Cooper Flagg. I'm going to actually take a lower. I'm going to lean into Kenny's higher on Con Knippel's points and go lower. There's a pick you can make. It is Cooper Flagg points and rebounds, 30.5. I'm going lower on that combined. So that's about, if you have it, I guess it's 15 each. But I'm going to go big Con Knippel game. Not a big Cooper Flagg game in the scoring department, and I'll go lower. Duke wins still. though. I think this will be the Devils. It is their season. Shire is a for sure coach of the year candidate. I mean, he's doing an awesome job there. But there you go. So you can enjoy that game. That's later on in the day. So you can watch Mizzou. Then at 5:30 on ESPN, you can watch that game over in Cameron Indoor. And if you want to go, you can pay $1,400 for a ticket. You guys want to pool our money together? Do you think you could scrap a ticket and some airfare?
If we pooled all of our combined net worths together, we would be able to afford half a ticket.
Yeah, there you go. And shout out to Underdog Fantasy as well. You can go over there and make some picks. Use our code RULE to do just that. So there you go. Duke, Carolina, Mizzou, Mississippi State, marquee game in the SEC. Some other good ones. Shout out to
the SEC.
Well, yeah, but I was talking Mizzou, Mississippi State. There's also marquee games in the ACC.
My bad.
I was going to shout out too. You got the Cal return, Kentucky, Arkansas.
Oh, that is Saturday, isn't it? Oh my
Saturday
God, I
well.
will be watching that.
That is Saturday as well. Big games. Payton would let me do my promo of college hoops properly. I could have said that way smoother. Anyway, all right.
Confused because you didn't say Ole Miss, which is obviously who Mizzou plays on
exactly.
Saturday.
Yeah, what a mess of a segment. All right, let's cut it off on that fact. No, I'm just kidding. We will finish out the show with quick hits. Let's close it, gentlemen. Okay, quick hits time. We'll finish out the show, and we will start our Friday quick hits as usual with jerseys of the week. Kenny, your jersey of the week, sir.
My jersey of the week goes to a fan of the show, long-time listener, long-time guest, and that's Noah Carter, who scored 44 points, setting a record for the team he plays for and overseas. The one thing I did learn about this, the 44 points, it was the most points by anyone in the world.
That day, yeah.
Yeah, so that's pretty cool for Noah Carter.
How did you see that?
Oh, there was a video. Someone who does a video of European basketball said that the 44 points was the most on that day. So,
in the world.
Yeah, shout out Noah Carter. Pretty cool for him.
Kenny,
thanks for coming on our show that one time. 7 for 9 from 3-point land. Would you have ever guessed that he would be able to do that?
Do you want to try to pronounce his team name?
I was going to ask that.
Absolutely not. Strelelki
record.
I think is record.
I think that's actually not the team name. I think that's actually. I think that's actually
44
saying,
Bodoo.
Scoring record. Bodoo. He would do that from time to time for Mizzou. Like he would have a couple. Like,
warm ups.
No, he would have a couple 3 of 5 games. Like he had 1 or 2, or he would hit a couple threes. He did.
We were told that he had the best 3-point shot on the team.
I know we were told that.
All right, let's move swiftly on. Payton, what's your jersey of the week?
My jersey of the week is going to be, once again, Brady Cook being the biggest nerd ever because he's on the 2024 football academic All-American team. Yes, Brady Cook, if you didn't know, absolute stud academic weapon. Also, the day we're recording this, Thursday, January 30th, he is playing in the East-West Shrine Bowl. He posted on his story a photo of Jerry World and said, "Hey, I've played here before." I don't know what game he's referencing, if someone could enlighten me. But there you go. Brady Cook, just an absolute unit mentally.
I do good meme callback to the academic weapon. That was a good good meme callback. Yeah, shout out Brady Cook. Hopefully he does well in the East West Shrine Bowl. We'll do a roundup of it on Monday's show after it ends. My jersey of the week is going to go to Connor Tollison. We are going back to college football 25 and back to our Mizzou mole within the card making community for the game because Mizzou got another one, guys. Connor Tollison, a 96 overall card in the college football ultimate team game. Payton, have you acquired this one yet?
No, but please stop releasing Mizzou cards because I have to buy all of them, and I'm going to have to buy this one. I worked so hard to get back up to 500k coins. I'm about to throw 40% of them away again because I need to get the Connor Tollison. Stop making Missouri cards, please.
Never thought we'd see the day. I did think when the game came out, we were going to have to be on the show like begging for Mizzou special cards. I thought it was going to be the total
We
opposite.
were for like 4 months. And
That's true,
now all of
but
a sudden it's Sean Weatherspoon, Brady Cook, Larry Roundtree, Connor Tollison. Just
Daniel
absurd. Daniel Blood. Yeah.
Membu.
Dalen Carnell.
Dalen Carnell.
Yeah.
Wheeze. So I'll do the question
Stop
again.
releasing them.
Who gets the next one, past or present?
Brett
No
LeBlanc.
one, no more.
I will go Tucker McCann, kicker card.
Oh God! I'm
Hey,
not
who did
getting
I
that.
say the other day? That would be a good one. Oh, I forgot. I said it last night with
I
you.
don't remember.
Oh God, you did. Was it? Was it an offensive player?
shows.
I don't remember, but I mean, I didn't say it on here. We said it on Xbox or something.
I will
but
get a Jeremy Maclin card. That is.
I'm surprised
I
you're
would
doing
really
one.
like. I would
That's
really
nice.
like to see a Jeremy Maclin. Not really a Chase Daniel. I would like to keep my Brady Cook now, but
Yeah, we can't have overlap. We need to have new positions. So there you go. Connor Tollison in the game, 96. Overall, up
I
next,
like no capping. He's the main bird.
it's the Sean East main bird of the week, teammate of Noah Carter. Kenny, what's your Sean East main bird of the week?
The pride of Parkway Central in the St. Louis, Missouri area. Max Scherzer reportedly signed with the Toronto Blue Jays on a 1-year deal. The funny thing I learned about this as well, he's going to make $500,000 more than Justin Verlander this year. And I feel like he probably did that on purpose, waited for Verlander to get his contract, and then signed for $15.5 million while Verlander got $15 million. Beautiful strategy, but a true son in the six.
you know those mid 2010s Tigers always trying to one up each other. Wait till you see what David Price gets when he comes out of retirement. No, good for Max Scherzer. I really hope this doesn't turn into one of those like TikTok slideshow pieces that you see. But no, remember when Max Scherzer just randomly showed up at the border war in 2022?
Yes, iconic. Oh no, yeah, that's good for me. Are the Blue Jays good? That's what I was going to ask. Are they going to be good?
No.
They'll
I
be
do
like
not
a
think they
wild
will.
card team at best, it feels like.
I think they're the most 83 and 79 team I've ever seen.
Okay, so average. Payton, main bird.
My main bird is going to be the legendary Mizzou defensive coordinator, Steve Wilkes.
Sorry, that gave me a giggle.
If you're looking for a bird connection, are you serious? He is signing on to be the Jets defensive coordinator officially now. We talked about how last week it was like kind of reported, but he is joining Aaron Glenn's staff. If you are actually looking for a bird connection, he was the Cardinals head coach. I shouldn't have to explain myself to you viewers.
How do you guys feel about the Aaron Glenn Jets with Steve Wilkes as DC?
Well, Steve Wilkes was really, really good. That was a great unit he led in 2021. So I think it'll go really well for him.
Kenny?
I mean, we already talked about this. I don't really see the point of bringing it up again when it's actually not.
Oh, Kenny Van Doren is Mr.
It said sources.
He
This
said
doesn't mean it
reportedly.
happened.
He said reportedly for Max Scherzer signing from Bob Nightingale.
No.
But, oh,
This
Jordan
is the same
Schultz
thing.
report-
It's a report, a
Good as
report, a
gold.
report.
We can't talk about it ever again.
It's another report a week later.
Ouch. Drama. I'll answer my own question. I thought Aaron Glenn was a good coaching hire, and hopefully it works out for the Jets.
I forgot you asked that.
That's fine.
Still
No,
the
that's
Jets.
fine. Speaking of
I don't know,
of
but
Coach,
Steve Wilkes was great. Oh
Yes.
gosh, my connection is breaking up. I don't know what's happening.
speaking of coach hires, Peyton. No, you stay
Hold
right
on.
there. Speaking of coaches around the league, my Shawnee's main bird is Matt Eberflus. Matt Eberflus. He's staying around. He got the Cowboys DC job. Of course, famed former Bears head coach, also bird connection. Kenny, would you like to say what the bird connection is? You were so proud of it.
Yeah, he worked under Gary Pinkwell at Toledo and at Missouri as a defensive coordinator. And Gary Pinkwell coached at Bowling Green.
Bird connection.
Connor
Peyton, how
Bazelak.
do you feel about this?
Oh, my connection, man. I can't hear anything you guys are saying right now. Hopefully it comes back here soon.
Well, if his connection's going to work, he might as well not be allowed to participate in the rest of the show. Kenny, what did you learn this week? Might as well kick him out.
Yeah, we'll just skip Peyton's. Maybe we'll come back later.
Yeah, Kenny, what'd you learn?
I thought this was fun. Cornerbacks coach and assistant head coach Al Pogue posted a photo with Armin Membu at the airport. You can obviously tell that photo is at the airport. I was a little bit confused. Why is Armin Membu at the airport when he's supposed to be at the Senior Bowl, the Reese's Senior Bowl? Because the Reese's Senior Bowl did post his measurements. He's standing just above 6 feet, 332 pounds, 9.5-inch hands, 34-inch arms, 81-inch wingspan. Looking good there. Saw some people that really liked some of those numbers. And then Dane Brugler from The Athletic reported this, that Armin Membu arrived on Sunday and came down with a bad stomach flu that night. Didn't get any better the last few days and didn't have much choice but to pull out of the Senior Bowl. Someone replied to me when I shared this somewhere and said that just sounds like a person that knows they're going to be taken in the first round and doesn't really need to be there.
I got a stomach flu.
Look at the guy that replied, man, that's super disappointing. Any idea if he practices tomorrow? It says he left the Senior Bowl.
He left Mobile, period, from Dane. That's a good ratio of the week. Bonus ratio of the week submission. Yeah. Kenny, I'm also glad you could read those measurables. I thought his arm was 8,000, or not his arm, his wingspan was 8,100 inches. Yeah, that's tough for Armand, but very cool connection. Peyton, you want to do the best thing you learned this week now? Is your connection better?
Yeah, I think
can
it's
you
all
hear
good.
Peyton, can you hear us?
Oh,
what? Peyton, I can't hear you. Sorry. All right. My best thing I learned this week is we got another sellout in Mizzou Arena. The last game of the season is going to be sold out between Mizzou and Kentucky. Mark Pope's squad coming in to Mizzou Arena on March 8th, 11 a.m. Tip for that game as well. Another sellout. So that is I forget how many now. I thought it was six sellouts for Mizzou men's basketball.
They did also, I don't remember, this was a couple days ago, so maybe I don't think we mentioned it though. A&M also sold out. So I'd probably expect sellouts the rest of the way.
Yes, Dennis Gates and co. There you go. Great photo with it as well. I'm might have to propose we make that our Twitter header if this keeps going for Mizzou men's basketball. We might have to get rid of the three of us from it and put those guys. I love that photo. It goes so hard. All right, Peyton. You finally ready to do your best thing you learned?
Yeah, since you guys were trying to bury the women's basketball uplifting news. Grace Slaughter, in a season full of pretty bad stuff for Mizzou women's basketball, she has been a highlight, and she had a career high 31 points in Missouri's game against Mississippi State the other day. Not Ole Miss. Made sure to get that one correct. And her 30th and 31st points came on a buzzer beater. She literally got a steal on the other end and dribbled it the whole way. Pinchton did not use either of her timeouts. She just said, Grace Slaughter, go win me a ball game. And she did just that. Snapped a very long SEC losing streak. And it got Missouri, of course, their first SEC win of the season. So there you go. A little bit of positive for the women's basketball team. It was a very cool shot. I honestly thought she was behind the backboard almost. So it was a pretty tough angle.
I was going to say the footwork on here is just unbelievable. A couple double pivots, spin around, ball game. So yeah, I mean, hopefully Grace Slaughter can continue providing some nice moments.
Lefty too.
Yeah. Very crafty. Just spin post hook shot, I guess you call that. They won't go over. They won't go over. The South Carolina men's basketball team might go over. So, you might have one worse SEC program.
They're going to go over with a point differential of -18 this year. They're even more unlucky than Missouri last year.
Well, you know what, though? I still think it's worse because they're going to have a first-round NBA draft pick and might go over. I was thinking about this today.
Really? Wow.
Yeah.
Who's going first overall?
Colin Murray Boyles, their sophomore forward. He's like a first-round draft pick.
Wow.
Missouri didn't have that. So that's my argument for when the inevitable whose offer was worse. If South Carolina.
Well, Missouri had Jesus Carolero. So
it's a damn good point.
Peyton,
end this damn show with a joke, unless you want Jesus.
This one comes from our favorite This one comes from our favorite TV series, The Today Show. Guys, why did the nose feel sad? The schnoz.
It couldn't boogie.
That's a good one, but
That is
no.
a good one. What is it?
It was always getting picked on.
Oh, ooh.
Uh,
Yeah.
feel like
I
you
like
could
Kenny's way better,
win.
actually. Kenny once again outdoes the Today Show with the joke of the
Take
week.
it up with Al, not me.
You're right. All right. I'll do it for the unwritten rule.
Speaking of, I saw a video. This is so off topic. I saw a video recently of Ewoks on the Today Show. Have y'all seen this video?
Yes.
I know
yes.
exactly
That
what
is insane.
Is it where he
That
tries
video.
to like drink the tequila or something?
Yeah, and then
yeah.
he's like doing dances on the ground.
Ewok flow. All right, there you go. That's how we're ending our show this week. Enjoy the Mississippi State game. We'll recap it. Hopefully, it lives up to all the hype we gave it tactically, and it's a chess match in the Hump. All right, I've been solo screened again. Apparently, this is a new tradition. See you later.